Turn up the dial, feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's so I remember I. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the group. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Good morning, monsters, and welcome to this week's episode of Monsters on the Edge here on the Untold Radio Network. I am your host, Barnaby Jones from Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. As I said in the comments, technical issues on my end this morning. We went to start the show, and I made some comments about how StreamYard was having some issues in the past and things being wonky, and then it seemed like everything on my computer just froze. So I had to restart the whole computer and get everything running again. But we are here. We are live in studio today. So if you have any questions or comments throughout the show, Lee Warner joins us in chat already and is super excited that the show started late, but is going strong. So we are all set to go here. Thanks for watching and tuning in. All right, guys, coming up, we have SilCon in Gaze, Illinois, coming up the September 19th and 20th. I'm going to be down there doing a presentation on the Hide Adventure. We have the Hide Adventure exhibit is going to be on display as well. That is showcasing Bigfoot activity in Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So if you guys have not got a chance to see the traveling exhibit, head on down there to SilCon. We will be there Friday and Saturday in Gaze, Illinois. And then coming up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we are going to be at the Van Meter Visitor Festival, September 27th in Van Meter, Iowa. We are doing paranormal tours of Wisconsin's premier haunted gentlemen's club in Mackville, Wisconsin. With over a 100-year haunted history of the building, it has been passed down for 3 generations before finally being sold to its current owners. There are over 4 reported deaths in the building, and we have had activity, you name it, from EVPs to full-bodied apparitions to all kinds of stuff in the building. We have always had very exciting tours and investigations. So if you're interested in doing something spooky this October, or coming up this month, we have a few tours as well. Head on over to hauntedbeansnappers.com and click on the spooky side. Coming up on October 16th, I will be at the Shawano County Library. October 22nd, the Brownsville Public Library, and the 25th at the Neenah Public Library. All these events are free to the public and are exploring the paranormal. So we are going to talk about all things paranormal, how to use your equipment, how to stay safe, and how to conduct paranormal investigations, as well as share some evidence that we have captured with the CAPS team. And then after each of these presentations, we are going to be doing actual investigations of the libraries. Both Brownsville Public Library and Shawano Public Library have given me some activities that have happened at the library. So we're going to be looking into some weird stuff that's happened there. Going to be a great time. And then, guys, coming up, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, May 8th through the 10th, we are at CapCon, Wisconsin. Coming up here at the end of the show, we are going to be going over the first guest announcements, but I don't want to waste any more time before we get into the show today, so you have to stay tuned till the end. All right, guys, with that being said, let us introduce our guest for today. And remember, we are live, so if you have any questions or comments throughout the show, put them in the comments section and we'll get to them as soon as possible. All right, my guest today is Mike Familant. He is a 36-year-old past EMT firefighter and graphic designer. He is a full-time Bigfoot researcher, producer, and lead investigator from Northwest New Jersey. He first got into Bigfooting in 2011 on an expedition in North Florida, where him and a friend experienced rocks being thrown at them while sitting around a campfire. Since then, he has made it his personal goal to find out exactly what is roaming the woods of America. In 2016, after becoming frustrated with the lack of true research expedition shows on TV, he created his own show called In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. The show is currently filming its 9th season. In 2018, Mike also created the docuseries called Squatchables, which was created for people who are just getting into Bigfooting, sort of a Bigfooting 101. With a passion for Bigfooting and a history in video editing, he decided to make his first real show about what expeditions are truly about. You'll see raw, uncut footage of what Bigfooting actually is. If there is one thing that he hopes people will gain from the show, it's family and friends to get off the couch and outside into nature and explore what the amazing world has to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike to the show. Mike, thanks for being here.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Thanks for having me so much. I really appreciate being here, and no worries about the technical difficulties. All happens, but I'm just glad that we're here and we're chatting.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here, man. It's so good to talk to you. So tell us where do you want to begin with this? Like I said, you've told your story of how you got into this. Tell me a little bit about your background, because like with being an EMT and firefighter and stuff like that, a lot of our professional workers, police officers and stuff, are trained in observation. So I'm sure this has helped you a lot, like going forward and with your Bigfooting 101 and stuff, being able to teach people proper observation techniques and being present in the moment, because with any of the police, EMT, firefighting and stuff, there's so much risk involved in that your technique and stuff can carry over into the Bigfooting.
You nailed it on the head when you said being present in the moment. That's what that taught me, is with all the hectic activities and everything that can go on during the course of a shift working as an EMT firefighter, you always have to stay present and within the moment. And that's helped me so much along my Bigfoot journey, because when I found activity, when I found these footprints, I didn't freak out, and I didn't do something crazy. I didn't mess them up. When I document everything, I go into it like with protocols and with okay, this is how investigation should be done. This is what I need to do to be able to film my show. This is what key points we need to hit when we investigate. Like, this is where I want to go. All that stuff is all planned out. It's very intensive the way I go about expeditions, and that's mostly in part because of my training as an EMT, firefighter, paramedic.
Absolutely. And also the documentary filming and film editing and stuff. I mean, for myself, we do much the same thing with the shows of just more, I've heard you talk about how you didn't like watching television shows because every time they play audio, like a Bigfoot howl, there's music playing in the background.
Yeah.
And I gotta hand it to you, man. That was one of the things that has ticked me off the most about watching any paranormal or stuff is this dramatic music. Like, oh, did you hear that? No, you were playing music over the top of it. So being a video editor and stuff too, you're filming from the perspective of how to tell the story when you present it.
Right. And I think what sets my show kind of apart from really every other show that's out there about Bigfooting is I do everything myself. Like from from pre-filming, from expedition planning all the way up to post editing and advertising and marketing and stuff like that. Everything is done solely by me and my manager, my good friend Jill, who helps out a lot. But I don't have a production crew. There's nobody that comes out and films with me. There's nobody that helps me with the editing process. Nobody that does YouTube stuff. It's all self-taught. I've all taught this myself. And that's another thing that that Bigfooting has done for me. That's kind of like an unthought of thing is like, what other stuff besides just, getting out in the woods is Bigfooting done for you? And for me, it's like, the video editing, the stuff like that. But I've gotten into like fishing and hiking and stuff like that. All stuff that I would have never done if I didn't go on my first Bigfooting expedition. But I can now like semi-okayly rub two sticks together and make a fire.
Semi-okayly, I like that. Yeah, I've always said,
Wouldn't depend on it, but it may happen. There's a chance.
I think we're kind of about this in the same boat with all this stuff because I grew up in the city. I've never gone camping growing up or anything. Yeah. The first time I went camping was because of Bigfoot. And I always said the only way you're going to get me in the woods to go camping is if I'm looking for Bigfoot. And lo and behold, this is how it started. And I think that your kind of origin story kind of fell along that same line as well, right?
It's very similar, very similar. Growing up always indoors, and I just never experienced outdoors. It's just I never had the inkling to, never wanted to. It wasn't just not part of my radar. And I remember the first Bigfoot trip. It was me and my buddy Jimmy, and I have never packed a car. I can fit a lot of stuff in my car. This car was packed so much. We brought the kitchen sink. I think we did bring a kitchen sink. Like that's how like packed this thing was. We knew absolutely nothing. I remember Jimmy, it was like hanging up this tarp like for rain and stuff. And somebody just like walked over and was just looking at us and was just like, "Are you guys okay?" We're like, yeah, we got it. We're just banging a tarp, But it's a learning experience too. Now I can do backpacking trips and bring 14 pounds of gear and be set for a week, which is amazing to me. That's crazy to me too. Absolutely. But all because of Bigfoot. That's that's the point I love to stress to people, especially like with my presentations and my programs that I do. Is it's all about getting off the couch and into nature. That's my mission statement. And it's so near and dear to my heart because, like I said, like you, it was just never an option or never a thing as a kid.
Well, let's talk about this. When you talk about your 14 pounds of stuff that you bring out with you, being an EMT and having that background and stuff, you got to look at like all the dangers that can happen out there.
Yeah.
So, what is it that you put in that pack to keep you safe for your week out there backpacking?
Well, not a lot. Turns out I had a little incident over the last weekend with a knife, and it kind of, I don't know if you could see, but it was not doing too good for a hot minute there. And it turns out I do not have that great of a first aid kit as I thought I had. because a lot of stuff was missing because I've just picked at it. So I have to go through. That's on my list to do today, is go through my first aid kit and restock, because I was a leaker for a little while there.
So what do you have in there? Or what should someone have in there, I guess I should say.
What should somebody have in there? Just basic stuff. You got to think of like ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation. So what are the things that you can fix when you're out in the woods? It's not going to be airway, because you're too far away to carry oxygen and stuff like that. You're not going to do CPR for an extended period of time. No offense. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. So you don't need to bring anything like that. But basic first aid stuff, Band-Aids, obviously good. Neosporin infection is a big thing, especially when you're out in the woods for an extended period of time. So you want to stay clean, sterile water or any kind of water to clean out the infections. Don't plan on rinsing it in a stream. That's probably not the best idea. Just like, I wouldn't suggest you drink from a stream either, but if you need to type of thing. Some off the wall things that I do carry and probably shouldn't be, and I'm no longer an EMT, so I guess I could say this, but I carry like duct tape and super glue, because that'll stop bleeding for a lot longer and than a Band-Aid will. So again, not professional medical advice coming from Mike on this lovely afternoon, but but other things, gauze, Band-Aids. I carry a tourniquet just in case. They're cheap and you can get them right on Amazon. And they're worth their weight in gold, really, especially if something happens to you. That's it. Wound clotter. I have that. It's like this sand that if you're bleeding really good, you could put it on there that stops the blood from coming out. That's good to have in there. But another scissors, that kind of all just sorts of bandages, all general stuff.
Lee says, and I've heard this from somewhere else as well, spider webs will help stop the bleeding.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but I have heard that before, like from survivalists and stuff. But
interesting. Well, hopefully we'll never have to try that one out.
I think if you get the spider on there too, they kind of like help knit it up. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you can turn into Spider-Man after it bites you, and you'll be good to go. You'll be invincible forever.
Absolutely. There you go. That sounds like a worthy goal for this weekend, I think so. So, what do you do now? You travel around and you do these shows and stuff, and I think this is really interesting because you have said that you figure out where you want to go to research and then try and get your presentations and stuff booked in that area. So is this what you do full time then? Like how's that work?
Yeah, full-time job. I do. I averaged about 90 presentations per year. And that will, what I'll do is I'll just pick, like, say, I like to go to Indiana. Indiana's really cool. It's one of my favorite states. So each year I go there and I'll pick an area in Indiana. And what I'll do is pick a base camp and I'll email every library in that whatever area that I choose. And if they book me, cool. If not, then we'll go to a different area. But and then we'll kind of strategically pick where we're going to go camping and film the show and look for Bigfoot at the same time. So it's pretty cool. It's like it's a win-win, because not only am I funding my touring across the country and being able to provide gas money, which is cool, and to eat stuff, which is neat. Also, I am capable of seeing the country and meeting people and filming the show. And that's one of the things, especially the meeting people. I have met so many people. I've been doing this full time for 4 years. And I just, there's so many people that I've met along the way and said, best friends to this day. I can't say anything more about that.
That's really cool. I think that I've met a lot of the Bigfooters and the paranormal people and stuff. These celebrities and stuff that you see on TV and that. And I think it's really interesting to point out. And this might get some flack in that, but all of the cryptid people, like all the quote unquote TV personality and stuff that I've friended on Facebook and met I've become friends with and talked to. And the paranormal side seems to have a little bit more of like this ego and stuff that maybe people are too good to be friends with you on Facebook and stuff. But all the cryptid people, like anybody that you know has been just absolutely amazing. Been on the show, you know, friends, talk on Facebook, all that stuff, and it's a wonderful group of people. But I want to come back and just show this because this is your itinerary for this past. Was this? This is this year.
That's this year.
All the
Yeah.
events that you have been to and stuff, and a lot of these are crossed off. We're getting to the end of the year, but this is what we got coming up yet. So a lot of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, North Carolina in there. So a lot
Yeah.
of coming up yet. So
Yeah, there's some good stuff coming up. We got Denton, North Carolina, the Wood Booger Festival coming up at the end of this month, which is I'm emceeing, I'm hosting the whole thing. It's going to be really, really ridiculous. What else we got? And then we got just some libraries coming up. We have let me get my schedule just to see while we're talking about it.
yeah.
We got this weekend, if anybody's New Jersey local, I'm at the Randolph Country Fair, which is in Randolph, New Jersey. I'm going to be speaking there at 2:00 this Saturday. And then we got a bunch of New Jersey libraries coming up in October, which is going to be super fun. And then we're kind of closing out the year at the New Jersey Para-Uni Expo in Woodbridge, which is I've met so many really just upstanding and amazing people there, and I can't wait to do it again. Mike, who puts it on, and is just and Chris are just amazing people. So it's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely. We will come back. We got more to talk about on that with your whole next year stuff as well. We'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Year. But you got so much cool stuff coming up. But tell me a little bit. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's a New Jersey joke. Okay.
Which exit? Yeah. I'm not on an exit, actually. Go figure. I know.
He says that's a New Jersey joke. All right. I was confused as to that. I was like, no.
Us Jersey. I got you. I got you, Lee.
Missing context here. Yeah. All right. All right. So what do you talk about in your presentations? Tell me a little bit about that.
It's kind of like the same thing that you talk about in your presentations, which I find really intriguing, except more of the cryptid stuff. I try to answer the who, what, when, where, and why of why I look for Bigfoot. And I don't. There's absolutely no like pushing of Bigfoot's real. There's no. I think you should believe this. It's all about. I challenge people for two things out of my presentation. To have an open mind, leave with an open mind with the possibility that anything could happen and anything's out there. I think that's so important in life, just not even for cryptids or just in life in general. It's so important. And get outside and into nature, see something different. You know what I mean? It's as we said before, and I hate to nail on the topic so much, but it's so near and dear to my heart that we're growing up inside video games, TV screens, movies. You know, that was it. That was my life for 20 something years. Never explored and enjoyed nature, and I missed out on so much. I missed out on it. That's why I think I do what I do now. Is I'm trying to make up for lost time, I suppose, and see everything that I couldn't see because I started so late. That's just a realization I had. Geez, Monday afternoon realizations here on the Untold Radio Network.
So one of the things that I like to ask people is, we talk about, we don't want to talk about all the other stuff that everybody else talks about. So what I want to know is, what is it that you think that you've learned so far? You've traveled all over from, Florida to New Jersey and Indiana, all these places. So what have you learned about these creatures? What do you think that like behavioral patterns, family patterns, anything that you think that you've learned or in your research come across?
That's great. Yeah. So because I travel so much, it's difficult for me to focus my research in one area. And I don't stay. I stay a week at a location before moving on to a different location. So it's very difficult for me to really get in depth and study any specific sort of area.
Mhm.
But what I like to do is I do a lot of research in New Jersey, since that's kind of like my home area, and I do a lot of research in Sussex County, New Jersey, which is cool. Sussex County actually has, we just actually had the New Jersey State Fair where I almost doubled the number of Bigfoot sightings in Sussex County just by setting up at the State Fair. People came up and 40 people came up and shared their Bigfoot experience that they never shared ever before. 40 people. That we have 71 current sightings in Sussex County, New Jersey, which is the highest east of the Mississippi. Super cool. But from looking at the numbers, you can actually go, if you go to my website at shadowofredeye.com, scroll all the way to the bottom of that, you could click on this map and you could read each pin on the map represents a Bigfoot sighting. And what I've learned over the years of looking at and interviewing witnesses and plotting these things on a map, which I think is very important. I think every researcher should have a map of their research area with sightings on it. I've learned that Bigfoot seem to follow the gas lines and the power lines, which is not a new concept to anybody, but you put some numbers behind it. 70% of Bigfoot sightings in Sussex County, New Jersey, happen within 1 mile of this major gas line that runs through the county. So again, if you're a researcher in your area, instead of, randomly just popping out in the woods somewhere, maybe try to research that gas line or power line to see if you can find any footprints or hear vocalizations. There's a lot of food sources for Bigfoot along those areas. Of course, do it legally. I know some places there are you're not allowed to do that. So legally, of course. But yeah, that, and also, zooming out from Sussex County, sightings of Bigfoot increase 80% every third year in the state of New Jersey. So why? We have to ask that question as a researcher. Once you have that number in front of you, you have to ask why. So I think, like, and if people don't agree, whatever. I'm glad you have your own opinion. But so I think Bigfoot are biological creatures. So I think they're here on this planet like we are, like a chicken or a duck or a turkey or what have you. But with that being said, the Bigfoot need to eat stuff and need to have patterns with and what I take. If you take a Bigfoot sighting map and you overlay it with a bear population map, they're almost exactly the same, right? So, for example, North Jersey, Sussex County, New Jersey, has the highest density of black bear population east of the Mississippi. We have the highest number of Bigfoot sightings east of the Mississippi. That's cool, and that makes sense. So where there's black bear, there's people. Why? What do black bear have that Bigfoot have also? I think it's very similar appetite. So I think they eat very similar things. So what do bears eat? They berries, right? Mostly berries, bushes, and ferns. 70% of their diets, that's what they consist of. So you have these two things eating very similar things. You have to look at where these things are found. You have bear out where you are?
Up north, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's Bigfoot has been seen up that way as well. You could take any state, overlay the bear population map. It's very cool. But yeah, so you take that number, 80% of those sightings. What's super interesting is that happen every third year. So you take a little bit of biology and you put it behind these sightings, right? If you take a berry bush, which we think Bigfoot eats all the time, and you strip it completely so there's no berries left on it, 3 years for that berry bush to grow berries again. I think Bigfoot are nomadic, which means they follow the food source, kind of like we used to as people did back in the day. So I think it would make sense Bigfoot may do the same thing as well.
That is interesting. I like that. Every 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like it's 80%. I mean, that's not it's like a 52%er, No. This is, 80% is a substantial number.
So when you're talking about the 3-year berry bush, which berry is that? Is that all berries or?
All but most every berry, yeah, most every berry bush shares the same common traits as a 3-year cycle thing. Yeah.
I have not
Some
heard.
don't. Don't get me wrong. There's like mountain laurel, and there's some other bushes that don't follow that. But generally speaking, I think that's with any plant really. Usually, it takes about 3 years to regrow its berries and stuff.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah, especially when it's picked anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but that's what I've been researching.
We are live, Grandizer. So if you have any questions or comments, throw them in the comments section, and we will get to them as soon as we can. So
Super live right now,
yeah, we are here in studio taking your questions and comments.
or my
Um,
bedroom, whoever you're looking at.
yep. So this is an interesting thing. Is you're not the first person to bring up the fact that these things also follow the gas lines and stuff.
Yeah.
So now I anybody can correct me if you're wrong here, but I don't know of anywhere in Wisconsin where we have these gas lines or pipelines and stuff. I know other people have talked
Oh
about
wow.
other states and that, but is this like an above ground pipe or is it
Oh,
just like a power line cut?
it's pretend to take a power line cut and just don't take any power lines. Just take the power lines out of it. So it's just like it's below. It's a gas line that's below the ground, and this one actually extends from basically New York City all the way out into the Pocono Mountains, and it's clear cut. So there's just a straight line, straight shot of highway for a Bigfoot to walk to get from point A to point B without interruption.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree with this. And that's really interesting because I don't know. I would assume that these things are following these areas because they're an open area, a big corridor that they can move down. But I don't know if there's anything else because I've heard people talk also about like the power lines themselves as a reason why they're there. And I don't know why that would be either.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, that you could get into other philosophies of
Mhm.
Bigfoot when it comes to power, energy, and orbs and everything like that. But I don't really dip my toes too far into those theories, just because I've not that I don't believe in them. I just never experienced them, so I'm just going with what I've experienced. Um, I'm and I want to be very clear. I'm totally open. I would love for the day to see Bigfoot disappear in front of me.
Mhm.
Love for it. I would blow my mind. I would be so happy. I would be so happy. I think I would cry. But that would change my whole philosophy. But that's important, though. I think everybody should keep that. Like I said in the beginning, my whole thing is keeping an open mind about everything. Anything's possible. So, anyways, I'm sorry to go on that tangent a little bit.
No, absolutely. You can go on whatever tangent you want. I think it's really important when we're talking about like research and stuff. A lot of people say trail cameras, possibly they can hear them, smell them, see them, stuff like
Sure.
that. I think that these power line cuts are an amazing opportunity because you have all this stray energy, all this electrical noise and stuff off the high power lines and stuff like that. That if you could get trail cameras on the edge of these power line cuts or right on the power line poles or something as well, that this is a huge opportunity to watch anything that's moving through that area, and the sound and smell of the power lines themselves are going to try and cover up a lot of that little battery power that's running your trail cameras.
That's so true. Yeah. I'm of the philosophy Bigfoot has the capabilities of seeing like the IR that the trail cameras produce. However, if you try to mask that anyhow, somewhat differently, that's always going to be, always going to be a better opportunity to see, to get that awesome trail camera photo.
Sussex County Bigfoot, which is you, isn't it? Are
Yeah,
you on the
yeah, yeah. You see how good I am. I'm
just
typing without
commenting at the
typing right now.
same time? I noticed that. I noticed this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
That's
is my wonderful manager Jill at the behind the keyboards over there. Yeah, thanks
awesome.
Jill.
Awesome. Jill says it is also less traveled areas as well because people are not allowed in a lot of these areas. And I think that's important as well. These
Yeah,
sometimes these power line areas are fenced off or something as well if they're close to the power stations and that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, we have a lot of questions popping up here all of a sudden now that people
Cool.
realize that we're actually in the studio. So let's go back up here. Steph would like to know, okay, so what about the reports of Bigfoot hunting deer?
That's great. So I guess going back to like talking about eating, what their diet is. It's very common for bear to not attack deer as well. However, they will do it if the opportunity arises. I don't think Bigfoot is going to, even in a family group with hunting tactics, it wouldn't make sense for a Bigfoot to chase down a deer. The calories that it outputs are just not worth what the deer is going to give them, especially a group of Bigfoot that's going to be hunting the deer, right? It's not going to give them enough calories. But you pick at berries all day long, you get hundreds of pounds of berries in your system, just like bears do. You know, it's very rare that bears will kill like a rabbit. I'm sure Bigfoot do. I'm sure Bigfoot pick frogs like it's like shish kebabs, you know, absolutely. But yeah, but I don't think they would. I think they're smart enough not to. You don't see human hunters, you know, chasing down deer to try to catch them. I don't think, you know, even though Bigfoot are substantially better than us, I don't think they would chase down a deer most of the time either.
Have you gotten any reports of hunters? I've heard them before that like they'll shoot a deer and then when they go and track it down, Bigfoot's there and rips like it in half and stuff like that. Have you gotten any of those out in New Jersey?
No, I can't say I've interviewed anybody that has that encounter. I've interviewed a bunch of hunters though, and I find this fascinating that have never been in the wood or have been in the woods all their whole lives hunting, have never seen a Bigfoot, and then they see one. That's cool. And it changes their whole life philosophy. But I've also talked to the hunters that have had Bigfoot in their crosshairs and cannot pull the trigger. Why? Because it's too human-like. They think they're gonna catch a charge, and that's not something that any hunter should be capable of doing. I know there's people out there say, "Oh, I'm out there just to shoot a Bigfoot." You know, good for you. If you do, you're lucky. You know, but that's not me. I'm not that person.
Very good. All right, got back up here. All right, so Grandizer says, "Welcome to the show. Apologies if you already covered this, but why does Bigfoot fascinate you? Besides your encounter, or was the encounter enough? Were you always interested in Bigfoot Sasquatch?"
No, it wasn't. It wasn't until in North Florida where I got my rocks thrown at me was my first real encounter with Bigfoot. I mean, I obviously watched the TV show to be interested enough to go on this thing, but because it was a BFRO expedition. But it really, I think why I'm into it so much is because it's unique. It's not a thing. Two, I never have enjoyed working for somebody. I know that's, but I like doing what I do. Like I own my own company. Like I'm working for myself. I make my own hours, which is terrible because I work literally 18 hours a day. But that's part of it. But to answer your question, it fascinates me because I get to see the country. That's why I love to do it. It's not about looking for for me anyway. It's not about the finding, it's about the journey. And you know, I'm not, if I do find Bigfoot, hey, cool, that's awesome. I'll let you know, one of those things. But I'm not, I don't go out in the woods and sit in silence for 8 hours in the dark and hope that Bigfoot comes out. Why? Because that's not fun to me. I am in this to have fun and have a good time and enjoy life. That's what it's all about. You only get one of these things. You might as well have a good time doing it. That's why I do Bigfooting.
Let me ask you this. When you go out and go on these expeditions and travel around and stuff, have you ever run across any other weird cryptids or anything? Have you been to Pennsylvania? There's a lot of thunderbird sightings and stuff out in that area. And then obviously the Dogman and stuff is kind of over in that area as well. Have you run into any evidence or anything that you'd consider other cryptids out there?
So yeah, no. So here's the thing. So I spent 139 nights last year alone tent camping looking for Bigfoot. So and I put myself, and I don't mean to, I'm not bragging. That's borderline homelessness. So I'm not trying to brag about that at all. However, I was doing it by choice, so that counts. But the thing is, I put myself in the scenario to have any of above said creatures
Mhm.
come and interact with me. That's why I'm out there. My main focus is Bigfoot, but I don't think, if you're out there looking for Bigfoot, Dogman's going to be like, oh, he's not looking for me. Never mind. I'll just go harass somebody else. Not going to happen like that. So I think but to answer your question, I have never come across anything that I cannot relate to be Bigfoot. So does that mean that there's not things out there? No. Um, but have I come across anything? Absolutely not.
What about, I know I know that you talked about some of your early expeditions in Florida. You talked about finding the Florida panther footprints and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever come across any of the black panthers?
No, haven't. That would be really cool. The only panther incident I've had really, besides finding that the mountain lion footprint in Maryland, which they say they don't exist there, obviously, but was when actually we were down the Everglades this past year, and that place, if you ever want to see a big cat, go down to the Everglades, because the Florida panthers there are they're like flies and mosquitoes. So yeah, it's definitely a crazy thing. Never, that's the closest encounter I've come across. Never anything Black Panther or anything. That'd be super cool to see though.
When you go down to these places, like you've talked about, like finding alligators and panthers and stuff like that out on the southern trips and that, do you have any kind of protection or anything when you go out with them?
No. Used to carry bear mace, had a little incident, don't do that anymore. So now the only thing I carry with me is a knife. And it's not, it's not like a Rambo thing, Bear Grylls type of knife. It's just a common little pocket knife. And I've never really had to need to use it, besides obviously when I just cut my thumb open. So that was cool. That's the only time it's ever been in something that it shouldn't have been. So
It's funny, but I have heard more bear mace stories going bad than
yeah,
actually ever people using them on bears. So
yeah, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, it's that was not. If anybody wants to see me getting sprayed with bear mace, it's on my YouTube. Just search bear mace.
I think that's your $1 billion video right there. I think
Yeah,
everybody
I
would
don't know how that hasn't gone viral.
yeah,
To be honest with you, man, me falling over a fire grate got more views than me getting bear mace. That's crazy.
that's just shows you how terrible the world is and the internet is. But all right, we have a lot of questions here piling up. All right, I'm wondering if you've ever encountered other Bigfoot hunters that are not with you or your group hunting at the same time. I often wonder if calls people could hear could be other Bigfoot groups.
So yeah, little funny story. I was out researching one evening, and we were doing Bigfoot calls in this area, and the next morning I had gotten an email saying, Mike, last night I heard these crazy howls through the woods. And I looked up where she was, and I looked up where we were, and there was no way that she did not just report me doing Bigfoot calls, which is the most awesome thing I think that's ever happened. But the reality of it is the woods are a big place. And if you have two research groups that are at the same area at the same time, they're probably there to mess with each other, or they're working together. They know that each other's there and they're doing different tactics and calls back and forth. That's hopefully the reason. The other reason is if you have two people is the whole messing with each other and trying to ruin everybody's evidence. And that I don't think that happens often. And when it does, you could pretty much with some easy sound analyzation, you can rule out humans. That's an easy way to do that as well, if you have any questions about if it's human or not.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I use Sonic Visualizer,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
it's really interesting to look at these calls that if a person does a Bigfoot call, the vocal goes across the whole spectrum through a lot of
Yeah.
the different ranges, whereas the what I would consider as real calls of Bigfoot are very localized in the bottom range. So it's really interesting to see like the difference of looking at it visually on a graph and stuff like that. So
It is cool. It's cool seeing, you can see that. I mean, and I love it too because I don't know about you, but I record a lot of audio when I go out. So um, you can really, especially overnight, if you don't want to listen to everybody snoring, you could see what their snores look like and just
yes.
kind of fast forward through it. It makes it makes an 8-hour clip into like 30 minutes of listening. It's wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Very good. I look at audio more than I listen to it for
I
that.
know, isn't that awkward?
Yeah. It sounds funny for people that don't understand what that means, but yeah. All right. Let's see. Grandizer says, what do you think is the golden age of Sasquatch research? If so, or do you think there is a golden age? If so, what decade or era? Is it the current times or have we not seen it yet?
That's a good question. Everything is always evolving, so it's hard to say if there's a golden era, if we've had one, or if there's about to be one. I think living right now is really at the most interesting stage of Bigfoot research because within the next 5 years, I personally believe we will know if there's a Bigfoot beyond a reasonable doubt, or if there's not with all the technology that's going to become available to, and not only the Bigfoot researchers, but everybody else, chances are we're going to come across something that has to do with Bigfoot within the next 5 years. Now, with that being said, this right now is really cool because of that advancing technology. We're getting to play with all the cool stuff that 10 years ago was way too expensive for anybody else. Now we're still not in that like the we don't know yet, but we're trying to find out. It's the golden age of exploration right now, especially when it comes in terms of Bigfoot research.
Do you think this is my question to you here? Do you think that I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of the UFO stuff and the disclosure stuff going on with the government and everything.
Mm.
Do you think that there's a chance that the government does already know about these creatures? And if so, do you think that any of this might come forward through disclosure with the stuff that Anna Polina Luna is doing with the disclosure and the JFK files and the UFOs and stuff? Do you think Bigfoot might be part of that?
So okay, so here's my little. I try to avoid the G word because that's the G word. But since you brought it up, I think if Bigfoot is alive and real, the government does know about Bigfoot and has studied them, tested them, is knowledgeable, has somebody knows something about them, right?
Mhm.
Now, with that being said, is Bigfoot is the government going to acknowledge the existence of this creature? I don't believe so. Why? Because there's one big reason, and that is if if the government does acknowledge Bigfoot, it's going to be an endangered species, right? So where is Bigfoot mostly witnessed or found? What's their habitat? Is the Pacific Northwest, right? So what is the major economic development in the Pacific Northwest? Logging. It's going to shut down all of logging across the PNW, and it's going to ruin that's logging is like the number one source of income for the United States. Like we're not going to stop that. That's not going to happen. We're not going to let anything get in the way of that. So I think that right there is probably a good thing. Now, with that being said, there is a circumstance where I think the government will acknowledge Bigfoot, and that's when somebody hits one with the car and it makes the news and they can't cover it up anymore. That's probably the more realistic thing of what's going to happen.
I think that's a very good point on your you made there as far as that, as well as your pipelines and stuff too that we were talking about earlier. All the oil lines and stuff, you're not going to be able to run any of that through the woods and that. And I think that if somebody hit one of these things with a car, I think it would be the same as going back to Roswell. The news would say Bigfoot hit by a car, and then the next day, oh, we looked, it was just a bear.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then they'd show a picture of a bear hit by a car and go, oh, we misidentified. The head was at a weird angle. We couldn't tell.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like something crazy, like Bigfoot was hit by a car and then they did everything right. Like they cut pieces off and they they sent it away to different, like they did it right. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Bigfoot body up at the New York State Fair? They had a quote unquote dead Bigfoot in a kind of like the Iceman. That was just like last week.
Yeah, I think I saw something about it. I didn't look too close into it, but
yeah, one of my good friends, Steve Coles, the Sasquatch detective, is going to go up there and investigate it live, which is going to be amazing. Or I think he did. I have to check it out. I haven't seen it yet.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I know quite a bit about the Minnesota Iceman. We've had Terry Cullen on the show, who was the person that brought it to the attention of modern science and stuff. He wasn't the one that founded it, but he did a lot of the research and saw it, and that really good episode. If anybody's interested, go back and check that out. It's one of our older episodes. But all right, let's go back here. Let's see. Try this one. In your research, do your thoughts that Bigfoot has a type of camouflage like a glimmerman or cryptid, or do you believe Bigfoot uses portals?
So kind of touched on this a tad bit earlier. I think Bigfoot's more biological. I think portal thing's a cool theory. For me, it's almost impossible to explain. It's just morally wrong for me to explain an unknown with another unknown. So it's just fundamentally hard for me to do that. So that's why I think I'm more biological. I think they have an awesome camouflage. I mean, I think a lot of people say Bigfoot's there 1 second and gone the next second, right? I think they just lay down. Like that could be a thing. A lot of people say they glide. That's because their only job is to literally walk in the woods. And they're very, very good at it. Like you see a Native American, walk in the woods, they glide just like we don't. We as people, we're very awkward in the woods. So the fastness and stuff like that, yeah, and it just I think, like I said, unless I could see Bigfoot zapping up into a portal, I'm stuck on the biological section of it.
Very good. All right. Grandizer again would like to know, what is your take on gifting to Bigfoot? It seems like maybe half of the Sasquatch community is split on this. Do you gift, and what results have you experienced?
So that's a great question. I don't know why. So like, I get it. I used to have a research area, and I had the capabilities that I used to leave little trinkets and stuff in this. It was actually a tree that I found in this one area that was, I mean, you couldn't tell me that it wasn't interwoven. It was crazy. Right next to it, I found an upside down tree. So, it was just a very good area. So, and what would be cool about it is I would come back every month or so and the structure would change. So it's like, it's active. So let me try to figure out what I can do to see if it's super active. So my theory was I was going to start leaving small little cat toys, right? And maybe put some catnip on them just as a little attention getter. I don't know. Why not? And, get Bigfoot a little, present. But, and then my theory with Bigfoot would take and put him back or whatever. And I would gradually get larger and larger little animals to the point where I would be able to get a GPS tracker and surgically insert it into the little teddy bear. And that way sew him back up. Hopefully, in theory, Bigfoot's not going to notice this or feel this or whatever, and take it to wherever it goes. And I'm not saying that I'm going to live track it and go check it out at real time, which would be really cool. I think that would be a really cool thing to do. But I could just find where it goes, and it go back there at a different time, and get all the physical evidence that I could possibly need to prove the existence of Bigfoot.
Interesting. We did a similar thing. I talked about doing research up in Upper Michigan at the Hayden Adventure, and we hung a jar of peanut butter up in a tree. And we came back about a month later. The jar is gone. And it's a big jar, right? There's no evidence of it on the ground. It is nowhere to be found. To this day, still haven't found it. So either something picked it up, carried it miles away, or something couldn't find it. So we hung another one there. Same thing. The jar is completely gone. So the first one, we had one trail camera on it. The second time, we put two, a video and a still picture.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of these trail cameras got anything. One picture, it's there. One picture, it's gone. So to your point, I went out and I got little like air tags that have trackers in them. Yeah. And I electrical taped the crap out of this thing to the peanut butter jar. The third peanut butter jar was completely empty, and you can sit and watch squirrels come and eat the entire jar.
Oh,
okay. The jar was still there.
Yeah.
Because I put a tracker on it.
Yep. And I figured that's the exact same thing that would happen. I figure so. They're too smart for that, but it's cool philosophy.
Yeah.
But, I like your way of thinking.
To be fair, I can't, tell you that Bigfoot came and took the first two jars. But like I said, one picture, it's there. The next, it's completely gone. And there is no pictures of squirrels eating out of it, raccoons, any animals eating out of those jars.
Yeah.
One, it's there. Next, it's completely gone. But
one of my favorite research techniques is along that line is you get a bunch of old, they're actually called CDs. Some people may remember them. They're little shiny things that have like mirrors on the back. Britney Spears, that kind of music. I would take some of that style, and what I would do is I would put them and hang them by fishing wire from a tree. I'd put 30 CDs in this tree, and I would put on one side of the CD, I would put double-sided tape on the non-shiny side. And then on the ground, I would make sure to put fresh topsoil or just clean off the topsoil so there's no leaf litter around or anything like that. Maybe wet it down a little bit or something like that. So in theory, Bigfoot's going to come in because it's attracted to the shiny thing that's shining around his woods. Come in, check it out, step on the ground, leave a footprint, leave a thumbprint on the shiny side, leave a hair on the other side with the double-sided tape, and boom, 3 pieces of evidence in Bigfoot in one gathering.
Did it work?
No.
Yeah, okay. Now, I will, on a note on that, one of the things that we tried was different bait stations and stuff, kind of similar to that. And we cleaned up the ground underneath them and found a ground bee's nest. So we quickly abandoned that practice.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to find. Yeah.
It's really good. This goes back to your videos of your getting maced and stuff. This video would probably be our viral videos from the ground bees. But yeah, that was our experience with trying that experiment. So
yeah.
Awesome. We have I think we have 2 more questions, but we'll get through these here. If you have any more last minute questions, get them in before we wrap up the show. Grandizer says, can you give us an example of the Sasquatch sound you make? Do you have any of the audio or anything on your website or YouTube channel?
Yes, it's all on the YouTube channel. You just got to watch one episode of my YouTube show, and you can see how much of a fool I make myself every Monday night at 7:00.
Awesome. Very good. Do you have any audio, like actual Bigfoot audio and stuff? Do you have any evidence of that?
I do. Again, on the YouTube channel, I think it's called Best Bigfoot Vocalization or something like that. You can listen to it, and what's cool about it is I actually sent the audio away to a linguist from the military, and because I don't know what I'm listening for. I'm not a sound guy, So he listened to it, and he does Bigfoot research on the side. So he listened to it, and he said, because of X, Y, and Z, this is outside of human vocal range, and it's no known animal from northwestern New Jersey. And that's really cool. 5 of us heard it, 5 voice recorded it, and it's all on the YouTube channel to check out.
Is that Scott Nelson?
No,
Okay.
different guy.
I was gonna say, because
I'm actually not allowed to say this gentleman's name.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. And your last question that I have, well, let's see. Last question from here. Which do you think is the best documented Bigfoot encounter? William Rowe encounter, 1955, Patterson Gimlin, 1967, Ape Canyon incident, 1924, Albert Ostman abduction, 1924, or other?
I got to go with the B, Patterson Gimlin. It's the OG. We talked about it a little bit before the show, but it's just the original. It's not that it's well. I mean, it is well documented because it has. I mean, today you can really go back and analyze it and stuff like that. It was. I mean, without the, and I look at it like this: without the PG film, Bigfoot would not be anywhere what it is today, and I would not be what I'm doing today. Without even finding Bigfoot, I wouldn't be where I am today. That's a show that got me into Bigfoot, so I can't knock it. Did I make a show because I wanted to make one a little bit different and, well, other than that? Yes, I did, but I'm never gonna say bad things about finding Bigfoot because it's where I started this journey.
Absolutely. Very good. That's a whole nother topic. I was going to start there, but we'll leave it at that. I was going to say, if it wasn't for the PG film, what do you think is the next footage that came out or would have come out?
I don't know. It's so hard to determine that. I like the new one. There's a new one that came out. I think it was out of Provo, Utah. There's a Bigfoot throwing, not the train one, but there's Bigfoot like side tossing a rock at somebody in a parking lot. That was pretty cool. I thought that was legit because the rock was like landed like right next to the person, which is kind of, what happened to me on my first adventure. So that's cool. So, oh, there we go too. Stacy Brown Jr., a friend of mine, or senior. I'm sorry, senior was the one that captured the thermal imaging of the Bigfoot traveling through Torreya. That's pretty cool too. I got to say, for thermal, that's got to be top up there on the list.
But see, I think going back to your point, I don't think any of those would exist without the PG film.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
That's a whole show in itself there, but I will leave
Just
it there.
have to have me back.
Absolutely. That's great. So, we talked about here, you got a lot of great events coming up here still rest of this year. I'll throw this up here for anybody. But you talked about some of the stuff. Remind everybody where you're going to be this weekend and where they can find you.
Yeah, this weekend we're in Randolph, New Jersey at the Randolph Country Fair. Next up after that, at the end of the month, we're in Norton, Virginia. I'm emceeing the Woodburger Festival. We're going to close out the year with some libraries up in New Jersey, which is going to be wonderful. I'm going to be in Ogdensburg at the Sterling Hell event again in New Jersey. It's going to be a great end of the year, and I'm excited to kick it out in style.
Very good. And you are already planning your 2026?
I did just announce. So we are doing the Do You Believe tour right now, Mike Familant's Do You Believe 2025 tour. Next year, I just announced a few weeks ago that I'm doing this whole thing all over again. I'm just a glutton for punishment. I'm setting myself up to do probably close to 120 nights tent camping. No, 100, yeah, about 120. I'm thinking, give or take, obviously, but we already got a couple already booked for next year, which is very cool. Oh, there it is. There's our beginning tour poster. We are starting the year off correctly, as everybody should. We are snowbirding it down to Florida and getting out of the cold for a couple weeks, or for a week or two. We're going to be in Okeechobee, DeLand, Hastings, and then we got another one. There's I don't know. We're all over Florida. So if you want to come and check that out, it's a whole new presentation this year or next year. So if you've seen my presentation, fun fact for you, I presented to like 2,500 people this year. So that's crazy. And we're going to do it all again. All to try to get friends and families off the couch. I think that's so cool.
That is awesome. So, where can people reach out? Like, let's say there's a library or anybody listening, events and stuff. How can people get a hold of you to book you to come to their events? And how do they get a hold of you if they just want to talk to you or share some stories?
Everything is on my website at shadowofredeye.com. You can email us through there or email shadowofredeye@outlook.com for booking information. We have all of our socials going. If you want to get in contact with me, just don't call me. You could do anything else or text, please. But you can email us, send me a message on Facebook. I try to answer everything I can. Add me as a friend if you want. I got a lot of friends. And it's great. Follow our journey over at our YouTube channel, Sussex County Bigfoot, and the name of the show is In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. I think there's over like 360 episodes for you guys to check out. That's like one a day for a year. That's crazy. New episodes come out every Monday evening, 7 p.m. That means tonight, 7 p.m., part 2 of the Everglades expedition, where we're down in the Everglades looking for not only Bigfoot, but the skunk ape. So check that out. Be sure to subscribe. It's going to be a really great episode. I'm excited to rewatch it. So I hope you guys are as well.
Awesome. Do you watch it live when it comes out, like commentary and stuff in the comment section and stuff?
I generally know because I'm never home. That's the short answer. I love YouTube scheduling because it helps me so much. I think I actually might be around to watch the premiere of the episode this evening. So depending on, I have another podcast this evening. So depending on how long that goes for, I should be able to pop in and chat in the comments as well.
Very cool. I know we've tried that a couple times, but like you said, when you're on the road and stuff on the weekends and when the shows drop, it's hard to be there live to comment.
Yeah.
We've done that a couple times. So. Awesome, man. Well, all your stuff, your YouTube channel, your Facebook and website are all in the show notes for anybody that's interested in that. You can head on over and give it a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe, and make sure you head on out. If you're anywhere in New Jersey or anything, or coming up to Florida, head on over and see your shows. All your events are free too. Is that right?
The ones that you don't have to pay for are free. Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, I was gonna say, yeah, I heard you'd said like all the libraries and stuff were free, but
majority of them are free. The only ones
and stuff, yeah,
the only ones you'd have to pay for is if you had to go into like a festival and have a gate fee or something like that. But all my libraries are free, no charge ever. I don't want to do that. I think bigfooting should be available to everybody and not just people that may be financially more well off than other people. That's my thing.
Absolutely, bigfooting for everyone.
Absolutely.
All right, Matt. Well, I appreciate you hanging around here and going a little bit long, especially with our delay and stuff at the beginning. So
it's all good. No worries.
So much, Matt. I want to invite everyone, once we sign off here, we're going to talk about the convention coming up and some announcements. But Mike, thank you so much for coming on. And when you get your start of your new tour and stuff, you got to come back and share a little bit about all your new presentation and keep us all informed.
I can't wait. That sounds amazing.
All right, man. I will talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Take care. See you guys.
All right, guys, that is our show with Mike this week. But for you guys in Wisconsin, we have promised you that we are going to be announcing the first round of our guest speakers and our lineup for the 2026 CapCon event in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, May 8th through the 10th. So guys, if you're interested in that, that's what we're going to talk about here. Our first announcement, we had a lot of people interested in coming out and seeing your television personalities and stuff. And we wanted to hear some people from Expedition Bigfoot. And my first announcement for the 2026 convention has been on Expedition Bigfoot, but probably not one that you'd think of. So our first announcement, we have Christopher Duncan will be joining us. He was a guest on Expedition Bigfoot twice. He is, for those of you who don't remember, the gentleman who came out and did the military experiment with looking for certain vibrational frequencies of animals out in the woods and being able to track them to determine bears or Bigfoot or monkeys or anything like that. He was also towards the end of that season as well doing the remote viewing. So he was the one that remote viewed the bridge with the cage and the area that they couldn't go that ended up at the end of that season. He is a ex-military as well as done a lot of remote viewing for the military. So he will also be part of our workshop series at this event. He will be teaching you guys how to do remote viewing. I've gotten a chance to take his classes when I was out at Phenomicon a couple years ago. Really good time. He is the guy that trained me in remote viewing. So we're looking forward to having him here to talk all about Bigfoot remote viewing and that kind of stuff. So he is our first announcement. It is going to be awesome. Coming up, guys, we had a lot of requests for casting. So one of our other workshops, we have Dan Nedrello. He is a Wisconsin biologist, field researcher, and has traveled all over the United States researching Bigfoot, conducting interviews and all kinds of stuff with Bigfoot. He is joining us as a workshop as well to teach you guys how to do proper casting of prints. So this is going to open up the show at 10 a.m. for you guys. You are going to actually get make and take. So you're going to be able to make a Bigfoot cast or a footprint cast and take it with you. So real hands-on stuff there. Looking forward to that. And guys, we have a panel announcement here for doing UFOs, UAPs disclosure for Wisconsin and in general. So it's going to be hosted by the one and only Jeff Finnup. And we have Ian DeGraff, Jeremy Soka, Zach Screedy, and Dustin Shuda is going to be joining us on this panel, all of which are specialists in their different fields of UFOs, disclosure, and UAPs. A lot of them have been guests on my other show, The Paranormal Spectrum. So we have a awesome group of researchers and stuff there for our UFO panel. Jeff Finnup is also going to be leading our brand new thing this year. We are doing a special showcase dedicated to kids. So we are going to be doing kids and Bigfooting with a series of shorter presentations, 30-minute presentations that are directed towards kids and getting them involved. So Jeff Finnup is going to be doing Wisconsin urban legends and lore for kids. Followed up by Kelly Milner Halls is going to be doing a presentation on getting kids involved in reading and all of her books that are specifically directed towards kids and getting them interested in everything from cryptids, aliens, Bigfoot, and the paranormal. Really awesome to have her on board as well. And rounding out our kids section, we have Lauren Smith, the host of Night Callers Bigfoot Radio, is coming up to talk about getting little footers involved in Bigfooting, how to get them interested, how to be safe when you're out there researching. And of course, guys, we couldn't have a kids section without doing a kids Bigfoot hike in the afternoon on the Friday prior. It is going to be a 1-hour event that you get to come out with Lauren and Kelly, and they are going to take us out into the woods for a brief time and kind of give kids a in-person how to Bigfoot experience for the younger people. It's going to be an awesome event there. And we are also doing a night Bigfoot hike on Friday, but we are not announcing our guests for that just yet. You'll have to wait and see. And then, guys, at 6 p.m. on Saturday, we have a seance provided by the one and only Christina Bloom. It is going to be an awesome time. She is going to be doing some channeling as well as her seance as well. And we also have a psychic gallery reading that we will be announcing as well. So two, hers will be at 6 o'clock and the psychic gallery reading will be at 7 with another guest coming up. So a lot of stuff still coming up in the future, but we want to give you a really cool taste of some of the people and stuff that we got coming up. Tickets are not available just yet for this event. The workshops will be a separate price, but a lot of them have make and take things. So you will get your money's worth out of that in information and some things that you get to take with you for that. And we have the Bigfoot hikes on Friday and a ton of vendors and stuff. So it's going to be a huge 3-day event. A lot more information coming on that as well. Head on over to Wisconsin Caps and click on the CapCon link on either the homepage or in the search bar up there, and head on over to Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Convention on Facebook if you want to stay updated on all the information there. But that's it, guys. We are super excited to have all this stuff and more announcements to come with more guests, as including our special guests for the night Bigfoot hike. We have some really cool Bigfooters coming out as well, but awesome stuff coming. Hope that you guys can all come out and enjoy this event with us. Head on over and stay tuned for more. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and share all things here on the Untold Radio Network, as well as all things from Mike on our show here at the Big Red Eye. Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the edge.